There are places in America you can see on a map, places you can drive past, places you can even photograph from a distance. But no matter who you are, no matter how curious, no matter how powerful, you will never be allowed to step inside. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And the most unsettling part isn't the fences or the guards or the warning signs. It's the fact that millions of Americans live their entire lives without knowing these places exist at all. When people think of forbidden locations, they imagine distant countries or isolated islands. But some of the most restricted places on Earth are hidden in plain sight, right here in the United States. They don't announce themselves. They don't appear in travel guides. They sit quietly, protected by silence, history, and fear of what might be uncovered. These are the places you are not allowed to visit ever. Just a few miles from New York City, there is an island most people have never heard of. From a distance, it looks peaceful. Trees sway in the wind. Old buildings crumble quietly into the ground. The water around it reflects the skyline of one of the busiest cities in the world. But this island was once a place people were sent to and never truly returned from. North Brother Island was used as a quarantine zone in the early 20th century. People infected with deadly diseases were forcibly removed from their homes and isolated here, cut off from family and society. Thousands passed through its gates. Some died there. Others survived, but were forever changed. The most famous resident was known as Typhoid Mary. She showed no symptoms, yet carried a disease that infected dozens. She was confined on this island for years against her will. Even after the hospital closed, the island never reopened to the public. Today, it remains completely off limits. Not because of danger, but because of memory. Some histories are considered too dark to reopen. Some places are sealed not to protect us from them, but to protect us from remembering. Off the coast of New York, there is another island that barely appears on maps at all. Plum Island. For decades, it was surrounded by tight security and even tighter secrecy. Officially, it was a government research facility focused on animal diseases. Unofficially, it became the subject of endless rumors. Boats were turned away. Flights avoided the airspace. Locals spoke in whispers about strange animal remains washing ashore, about experiments that went wrong, about why such extreme security was necessary for something so harmless on paper. For years, the government refused to discuss what truly happened there. When the facility was finally shut down, many believed answers would follow. They never did. Much of what took place on Plum Island remains classified to this day. And even though activity has stopped, the silence surrounding it has not. Some places don't need guards anymore. Their secrets guard themselves. Not all forbidden places are abandoned. Some are very much alive. Hidden deep beneath the ground in Virginia exists a facility built for one purpose: to survive the end of the world. Mount Weather is one of the most secretive government locations in the United States. It is not open to the public. It never has been. Built during the Cold War, this underground complex was designed to house top government officials in the event of nuclear disaster. An entire city exists beneath the surface. Power systems, water supplies, living quarters, communication hubs. If the unthinkable happens, this place becomes the center of American survival. The entrance is invisible to most people. Security stops you long before you ever see anything unusual. No signs, no tours, no explanations. Mount Weather exists quietly, waiting for a moment everyone hopes will never come. And that is exactly why you are never allowed inside. Then there is the place everyone thinks they understand, but almost no one truly does. Area 51. For decades, its existence was officially denied. People laughed at the rumors, dismissed the stories. But when the government finally acknowledged Area 51, it confirmed only one thing: whatever happens there is not meant for public knowledge. Located in Nevada, this site is protected by some of the most restricted airspace in the world. Pilots are warned. Roads end suddenly. Warning signs threaten lethal force. There are no fences in some areas, because fences aren't necessary. The truth is far less fictional and far more serious. Area 51 has been used to test experimental aircraft, advanced surveillance systems, and classified defense technology. Projects so secret their names were never recorded publicly. Even today, large portions of its activities remain unknown. Not because people haven't tried to find out, but because the cost of getting too close is simply too high. In a land where freedom is celebrated, there are still places where curiosity ends abruptly. Some forbidden places are not guarded by soldiers or cameras. They are protected by power. In California, hidden among towering trees is a private retreat known as Bohemian Grove. Once a year, some of the most powerful people in America gather here. Presidents, business leaders, military officials. The public is not invited. Journalists are not welcome. Officially, it is described as a social gathering, a retreat, a harmless tradition. But the level of secrecy surrounding it has fueled questions for decades. Why are phones banned? Why is security so strict? Why is transparency completely absent? When people with influence gather behind closed doors, curiosity is natural. And curiosity is exactly what this place is designed to shut down. What happens inside remains inside. And that is the rule. What connects all of these places is not conspiracy. It is control. Control of access, control of information, control of memory. In America, access represents freedom, and when access is denied, it is almost always for a reason. Sometimes it is safety, sometimes it is national security, and sometimes it is because the truth is inconvenient. These locations challenge the idea that everything in America is open, documented, and visible. They remind us that even in the most transparent societies, there are doors that will never open to the public. Places where history pauses, places where questions are buried, places where silence is enforced. And perhaps the most unsettling thought of all is this: these are only the places we know about. If such locations exist openly, guarded and acknowledged only in fragments, how many more exist that have never been named, never mapped, never discussed? Places without signs, places without records, places hidden not by distance but by secrecy, places you are not allowed to visit, ever.